Okay, this video is about the fourth quarter, all of our expenses in the last quarter of this year, 2025, our income and our expenses. So we have two incomes. Income number one, $29.60 a month. That's after taxes, medical, dental, and 401k. Our rent is $1,400. A lot of people ask if it's a condominium or a townhouse, that's not that bad of a price. A lot of the so-called, quote, luxury apartments and that run that and even higher. We live in a really teeny tiny town of less than 4,000 people with two apartment buildings. Thank goodness 3 more new ones are going up, but 2 apartment buildings that were built for families, no low income or subsidized or anything like that in this apartment complex. So we pay full prices, and we always have. Usually market value of places in the area, the same that they're renting for. I would say there's a lot more newer places in this surrounding area of 100 miles around that charge $1,400 for newer apartments. It's just that they're farther away from my husband's employment. Otherwise, we would be living in them. But 99% of the apartments in the surrounding area no longer allow pets. So that's also a reason why we haven't moved to something more affordable with newer accommodations. So ours is, if you haven't been here for very long and don't know what we live in, an apartment, 1,100 square feet. It's built in 2000. Original appliances, carpet, flooring. It's old and it's unimproved. So our electric bill, and I don't know if I mentioned, up 58% in 3 years with the new ownership. Our electric bill, we had hoped to just pay an average of $125 a month. Ended up being $147 a month. We do own our own appliances. We switched them out in 2010. We moved in 2009, and then by 2010 we switched them out due to the astronomical electric bills working with 10 and 12-year-old appliances that were already here. By now they would be almost 30 years old or 26 years old. So we got our own appliances in 2010, energy efficient ones. We've replaced a couple of them since then. If something goes wrong or we need a new one, it's all on us. So when we move out of the apartment, all the appliances will go with us. I think our first bill when we first moved in was $200 a month in the summer and $237 a month in the winter, and that was in, like I said, 2009. I believe it was very, very early spring 2009. Very high bills. But we ended up paying $147 as an average in the last quarter. Our car insurance also renewed in the last quarter. It went from $70 a month to $75 a month. Of course, I called Geico right away and asked, and they said, because we have no claims, never had any claims in 30 years, it was explained to me that due to the uninsured motorist increase in our state, which is Wisconsin, and record state accidents, that's why the monthly premium went up. So we will be getting a new car. Our car is 19 years old. Very high mileage. We do take very good care of it, but we absolutely need to get a new car in 2026 and possibly a new insurance company. Phones, 2 smartphones now. I didn't do my upgrade. Instead, we got a deal so that my husband could get a smartphone versus a track phone, because it was going to work out to basically the same amount of money per month anyways. So he now has his own smartphone, and I'm not going to take any upgrades. I'm just going to keep my old Samsung. Groceries, at the beginning of the year, budgeted $450. Really, it was averaged out to probably be $385. Might have been less, but I just kept with $385. There were 2 or 3 months in there where I spent very little money on groceries. So Gabe, we budget $80 every month for wet food. That's basically what his diet is, with a little bit of kibble, but he also has medications. So $80 a month. We ended up spending $60 because I did have both medications and food on hand at the beginning of the year. We budgeted $65 a month for gas. Gas prices have been going up and down, so it came out to be about $70 a month this last quarter. Household expenses, I purchase those, the bulk of those in February, and then top up in June. So household expenses would be, and toiletries would be anything that we would use for our own personal care: shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, floss, toothbrushes, stuff like that, hairspray, makeup, and then household expenses, anything that we would use, paper product, which for us it would just be toilet paper, or anything for cleaning, or if something needs to be maintained or repaired, that would all fall underneath household expenses, because we do our own repairs if we can in this apartment, because we don't like having to wait a long period of time, or whatever the case may be, waiting a weekend or whatever if it's something that's vital. I know how to repair refrigerators now, and stoves, and dishwashers, and garbage disposals, and put the guts back in a toilet. So I feel very accomplished because I didn't know how to do any of that 16 years ago. Medical expenses, we don't have any co-pays or medications or anything like that. We have been fortunate and lucky. We do what's expected, the required tests and physicals and checkups, but other than that, we don't have any medical issues. So we don't go to the doctor, and we don't take any type of medications. So again, we are very grateful for that. Other miscellaneous expenses could be anything, whether we traveled, have subscriptions, pay for things online, order off of Amazon or Etsy. We don't order off of Amazon. I haven't ordered off of Etsy for quite a while for myself. We don't have any streaming. I don't pay for any subscriptions. I don't pay for anything associated with a YouTube channel or anything else in my life. I try to get everything free when they offer it free, and I did pay for Walmart when they were willing to give it to me for half price. I also paid for Thrive Market when they were willing to give that to me for half price when I went and tried to cancel. So I will take something like that. So I guess I do have a membership. I have a grocery membership with Thrive Market, and at this point in time, they gave it to me for $9 for this year. So I do have that expense. Other than that, though, we don't have Amazon Prime or any streaming or any other type of subscription like that. So we're happy with that. Those are things that we had to cut out in order to have sinking funds and save for things that we prioritized. So speaking of sinking funds, those come to $721 a month after the bills of 2020 are $2239. Sinking funds, Gabe's Care, moving, old car expenses, surgery deductibles, and emergency fund. Fully funded Gabe's fund at $1,200 was our goal. 3/4 of the way fully funded the moving. Old car expenses ran us suspension and tires, oil changes, other maintenance, other issues. We saved $100 a month for. At the beginning of the year, we had an issue that we had to borrow out of a sinking fund, a large issue that we had to pay almost $2,000 for. So one of our other sinking funds that I contribute to is less $2,000. Surgery deductibles, fully funded, $1,500. An emergency fund, we're at 3 months. We're shooting for 1 year, so our next goal is going to be 6 months, and then hopefully we will have a year's worth of living expenses in an emergency fund. Income 2 is $12,737. That was supposed to be somewhere in the range of $35,000 this year. At the beginning of the year, I lost a job, and then within 6 weeks, I got a new job, and then within 2 months after that, with Medicare cuts, I lost that job. So then I went on some unemployment, and I also did consulting work at $50 to $100 an hour for 1 hour at a crack. So I really worked hard, hustled to get those consulting jobs, and really worked hard to keep them going. YouTube, I made $300 this year for 105 videos. eBay, I made $287. I stopped selling shortly after the first of the year. I just didn't have the bandwidth to do everything. So I do have a few things left to sell, and I will sell those at the beginning of this next year. Unemployment $71.50, consulting $5. So I had some funds or some of our expenses that I take care of. I fully funded the car down payment, so we will be going and searching for that new car in 2026. It's vital. Our car is well over 200,000 miles, 19 years old, and needs to be replaced. House down payment, because some of that money came out for a car expense earlier in the year, it's at $1,787. I put in retirement fund $2,550. Additional car maintenance, also on top of the first of the year problem. So paying for, in addition to what is saved every month, also paid an additional $1,100. So yeah, we need a new car. This one's falling to, it's at that nickel and dime stage, but it's not nickels and dimes anymore. Donation in church, $500. That's the expenses that I took care of with the income that I made this year. So that is the fourth quarter, last quarter of 2025 budget. I've done other budget videos that I will put a link into in this video. It's been a difficult year, I would say, starting out with losing a job and then working really hard to get another job and then losing that job. Going through all of the different steps for unemployment, but then also wanting to work and bring home a wage. And we've had a lot of different issues. I've had an injury since last Thanksgiving that has improved some. We definitely had higher costs, lower income, but through just, taking care of we were able to eat out about 4 or 5 times this year when we went shopping or had other things that took us away from home where we were missing a meal. Thanks to a special friend that follows a channel that sent us not only a gift card for Subway, but also sent us one for McDonald's. And we just used the McDonald's one the other night, the rest of it when we went Christmas shopping. So we were so grateful and thankful for having those gift cards. Otherwise, we wouldn't have ate out this year. Again, like I said, no streaming. We haven't bought any extras, any extra clothes or anything extra for the home. We haven't purchased anything online or on Amazon or from Facebook Marketplace or from other people. We basically just worked and then paid our bills and funded the sinking funds that are our priorities, and that's how we did it in 2025. So thank you for joining me here. If you have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section. I'll get right back to you. Thanks for joining me here. I appreciate you watching my videos. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would sure appreciate that. I will be making videos all next year. There will be some more emphasis on senior life management as I go into the age of 62 and I'm preparing for retirement and living as a senior citizen. Thanks for joining me here. Until next time, take care, be well, and I will talk with you again.